Alright folks, it's Andy here from Rusty the Woodsman, and thanks for joining me on today's video. So as the title suggests, it's a kit video, and I've just laid out all the kit that I'm going to take with me on our next trip. I'm just checking it off against my list here to make sure I've got everything that I want to take. Oh, tired. But yeah, we're heading back down to the Galloway Forest, but we're not going back to Loch Macaterick, and that's where I built the little bushcraft camp. I've seen another loch that I want to visit, so we're going to head there this time. So yeah, I'll zoom in on some of the kit and just have a quick chat about it all. Hey bud, have a quick chat about it all. So for my sleeping system, I'm taking Snugpack Softy Expansion 4. I bought this end of November, beginning December, and I've been using it since. Hey Rusty, leave that, there's no for eating, boy. But yeah, it's got a comfort level of -10 and then a lowest level of -15. I can't vouch for that, I've never been in those conditions in it before. The lowest it's gone to is probably 0, -1 at a push, the times I've been out and used it. But for those levels it's kept me nice and warm, and I haven't woke up cold through the night in it. So today it's kind of probably the best sleeping bag I've bought. To go along with that, I've got the olive drab British Army Gore-Tex bivy bag. This is the old style before they moved into the DPM and then now the MTP camouflage pattern. For a sleeping pad, I bought this a while back off of Amazon. I think it's about $19.99. It's just a cheapo inflatable, like small chambers, inflatable sleeping pad, and I'm really impressed with it, to be honest. It's so comfortable, it's unreal. Like I've tried Thermarest sleeping pads. You you could be spending like close to the hundreds for one of those, and I ended up selling it. I didn't like it. I've used foam sleeping pads from military and also just normal camping. They're good, but they're bulky and they're not as comfortable. So today, this is the most comfortable sleeping pad that I've slept on. So it'll be sticking in my kit for a while longer yet. And then my old trusty DD 3m by 3m Coyote brown tarp. I've had this since 2015 and it's still going strong. It's got a couple of small holes in it from the fire, but other than that, it's still gleaming. So for Rusty's sleeping kit, I've got this brown sleeping pads that I made for him. I saw Simon, a bloke in the woods, he made something like it for his dog, and I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. I've got the materials, I've got the time, so I'll put it together. So yeah, this is our green, I want to say it's either yak or alpaca wool blanket. Basically it's folded in half and then sewn together with this waterproof material. So it gives them a sort of, a waterproof sleeping pad to lie on. Being back in Scotland, it's a bit colder up here compared to England. At least where we were camping and whatnot when we did get to camp while we were down there. So I decided to get on this stuff. It's like imitation Sherpa fleece, but it's about 2 meters long by 1.5 meters wide, and I can fold it in half and it sort of doubles over, and then put that on top of your sleeping pad. It just gives them a bit more insulation from the ground. And then this dog jacket, we bought this a few years ago, and it's just it's a water resistant outer with a really thin fleece lining. And again, it was good down in England when it was a lot warmer, but up here in Scotland, I noticed our first camping trip out when the winter really kicked in, he was a bit cold with this. So again, this wool blanket, we got the green one and also a blue one. I basically cut it into pieces and managed to get two sections out of it, and then sewed it into the inside of this jacket for them. So again, a bit more insulation, keep them a bit warmer in the nights. So obviously over the past few weeks in the UK at least, it's been, the weather's been pretty crap over the past couple of weeks. Really high winds, a lot of rain, lots of floodings happening in various places and whatnot. So at the minute, the 2 days that I'm looking to go down over, it's going to be really wet then as well. So for Clothing, trousers wise, I'm going to be wearing my Sealand gentleman trousers. Yeah, like I said, it's waterproof. I bought these off a website called Ardmore. They sell all that sort of country shooting type kit. But yeah, I've worn these in loads of horrible rainy conditions and they kept me nice and dry and warm. So they should do on this trip as well. The only issue with them is that they catch a spark. They're pretty delicate when it comes to the fire. So I just have to be extra careful when I'm around the fire. I don't think I've caught any sparks so far with it, but I am conscious of the fact. So yeah, I'll be extra careful when wearing these. Jacket wise, I'll be using my waterproof Mountain Warehouse Extreme jacket. Again, I've worn this out in really, horrible wet weather, and yeah, again, it's kept me nice and dry. So it's a really thin layer. That's why I chose it, and that way I can layer up underneath it to keep myself warm. And on my feet, I'll be wearing my Altbear Defender boots. They're comfortable, but they are heavy as well. But they are bomb-proof too, and great ankle support. I like to wear layers when I go camping, like sort of finish layers, and I can take them off as I heat up and then put them back on as I cool down and whatnot. So this little sort of zippy up jacket, Under Armour, my sister Stacey, who came on my latest wild camping trip with me, she got me this for Christmas. So I will be wearing this, and then over the top I would wear this, just a Mountain Warehouse hoodie, fleece lined, but it's really, really thick and heavy. It keeps me nice and warm. I really like this. On my feet, I'll be wearing these Bridgedale socks, but I'll be taking a spare pair as well. I use these pretty much my entire time in the army. Whether you tabbing, yomping, hiking, whatever you want to call it, these I think are gleaming. On my hands, I bought these maybe last year or the year before. These are really nice and warm when it's cold. They're also good for around the fire. I don't know how high the percentage of wool is in these, but they don't seem to get damaged by the fire. But they keep my hands really... I've used these, holding my water bottles and filling off in the stream, and the thumbs and whatnot, they get wet and damp, but the tips of my thumb doesn't seem to get cold or really affected by it, so they do keep you nice and warm. I've got my shemag here, again, had this all through the army, still going strong. And a new thing my wife got me for Valentine's Day is one of those Buffy hats that Ben and Lois Alford sell on their website. So yeah, this will be its maiden voyage. Yeah, that's basically all clothing that I'll be taking. So food wise, I'm looking at keeping things quite simple. I'm just going to be bringing a big steak for me and Rusty to tuck into. So I've got my little grill here, and I'll fashion something to have it over the fire so I can cook my steak with it. I've also got my titanium mug, so I can boil up water for brews, and in the morning I can boil up my eggs in it. Got myself a little stainless steel water bottle. I think it's about 475 millilitres. Just so I've got a bit of water to sip away at when I'm hiking around looking for a camping spot. There's going to be a big lock there as well, so I can fill it out of there when I run out. In the mornings, especially if I'm only there for a day, I generally don't bother getting a fire going the next morning to cook breakfast with. I just use my little meth burning stove here. This is a Tatonka one, and then I use these little 4 tent pegs as like a pot stand to put the pot on top of. And I've also got this little windbreaker recently, about £2-3 off eBay from China. Got my little wooden spoon, carved this out of willow a while back. Got the fish mouth spreader to go with the water bottle so I can hang it above the fire to boil water in it if needs be. I've got this little cookser. I didn't make this one, I bought this from a guy off Instagram, Soul of Siberia. I've got my little infusion tea bags, lemon and ginger at the minute, that's the flavour of choice right now. I tend to bring these over, your sort of normal brew kit where you need to bring milk and sugar because it's just extra stuff to bring, whereas these you just throw them in water and let them steep. And then Rusty's water/food bowl. So for tools and miscellaneous items that I'll be bringing with me, I've got my Draper Expert saw here. For a good few years now I've been using the Silky saw. but when it comes to, you know, sort of bigger rounds that you need to cut through, it's a lot of work, especially when you have to sort of bend your wrist in that sort of weird horizontal position to saw with. It's great for smaller stuff, smaller rounds, but for the bigger stuff I needed a more heftier saw, and I was using an old bow saw that I found in the back garden when we moved back home. It was a good saw, no real issues with it, but it is an awkward shape and quite bulky to try and fit inside the pack. So I opted for this instead. This is, I think I said it, haven't I? And I'll say it again, it's the Draper Expert. It's about $19.99 off Amazon. It comes with a 500mm blade, but I've actually cut about 110, 120 mils off the end because it was just too long to fit in the pack then. But it's got some serious serrations on it and it eats through wood. But to be honest, my biggest draw to it was the handle. It's got, you know, that sort of that DIY home handsaw, you know, handle to it, and I find it really comfortable to saw with because it's, you know, your hand's in that vertical position and it just feels more natural than bending your hand that way. So yeah, this is my go-to saw at the minute. I'm going to be bringing my small forest axe. Most of you will know, if you're from the UK anyway, we've been getting absolutely battered the past few weeks with horrible rain and wind and whatnot, so I'm expecting the wood to be quite wet as of late, so I'll probably need to split down into the centre of it, so I thought I should bring an axe just in case. I'm bringing my ferrocerium rods with a few pieces of fat wood to get the fire going. I'm looking to be doing a bit of feather sticking practice and whatnot, and I want to light them with some matches that I put into this little matchbox, birchbark matchbox that I made a little while back. It's got a cedar bottom and a cedar stopper on the top, and it's, you know, I can only find safety matches, so it's got the safety match striker on it, and also on the inside, so I've got some tinder. I put little strips of birchbark in there as well. So I'm going to bring that along and yeah, do a bit of feather sticking and light them with the matches. So the knife I'm going to be using is this Adrian Etheridge knife. He's a British knife maker based down in Cornwall. I bought one of his knives off him last year, the camp knife. It's a big knife with about nearly a 6-inch blade on it. But he got in touch with me recently. I can't remember if he said it was a prototype or if it was a commission that fell through. This is a Bushcarver, it's called, and he basically asked me if I wanted it, and he just asked for the money to pay back the material, so I got this a lot cheaper than what it's actually worth. But I'm sure it's RWL 34 stainless steel. It's got about a 4-inch blade, maybe a bit longer, nice Scandi grind, 4mm stock. It's a G10 handle, you know, olive G10 with red liner, and then a black liner against the steel, and brass hardware, and a nice leather sheath to go with it. I haven't used it a great deal, to be honest. My sister used it more on our last camping trip, and she got the fire going with it with the fire steel, and then also the fire striker ferro rod even, and then also our famous mushroom peeling. Got a little hygiene kit in there, toothbrush, toothpaste, some toilet roll, and hand sanitizer. And then lastly, just my head torch that I bought back in 2013 from B&Q's. And then my first aid kit. I've upgraded to a slightly larger pouch. The one before it was probably about half the size of this, and it's really just a cuts kit. Whereas now I've opted to carry permanently my first field dressing and also my tourniquet. I only used to bring them out when I was you know, using the axe, but I've decided to bring it out permanently now, you know, just in case. So for the pack I'm using, I've got my Westport 55 litre backpack. It's 55 litres with the side pouches. You take them off, they're 5 litres each, so it's a 45 litre pack. The original side pouches that it comes with, I don't like them. It's not so much the pouches, it's the way they're attached. They've got these weird, ridiculous little clips, and they're just so hard to get off and fiddly. I've actually broken one trying to take it off, so I don't trust them. I don't use them. I bought these Tasmanian T8 pouches, and they're molly. And at the top of on the sides of the pack, you've got you know, a row of mully at the top and then a row of mully at the bottom, so you could fit a mully pouch on using the mully loops and whatnot. But those particular pouches, they zipped from the top and then all the way down the sides, and they were like quite narrow, so it was awkward fitting things into them and then making sure I could close the zips up without, you know, busting the seams and whatnot. So I ended up selling them on eBay, and I'm at the minute back in the planning process of what I'm going to do for side pouches. I'm thinking maybe getting the old British Army Bergen pouches, side pouches, in olive drab, and then sewing on mully to the back of that, so then I can attach it and detach it as need be. But we'll wait and see. For at the minute, I'm managing to keep my kit downsized to being able to fit what I need in it for one night with me and Rusty. If we were going to be out for longer, I'm going to need more capacity, I think, when I'm bringing stuff for me and Rusty, especially in the winter, with sleeping kit and warm kit, etc. But yeah, that's the pack, the Wisport Ranger 55 litre. I'll line it with this. This is one of these big Otley waterproof dry bags, that big thick, I don't know, I'm guessing some sort of rubber plastic type material, but it's 59 litres and it lines the pack really nicely, and this keeps all my, you know, sleeping kit, warm kit, etc. nice and dry. If the rain gets heavy enough and starts to seep through this, or if I, you know, take a dip into some sort of river crossing. So yeah, that's all the kit and that's all the carrying system. So I'm going to pack it all now and I'll show you it all packed, and then I'll weigh it because everyone likes to know how much it weighs as well, don't they? So yeah, just weighed the pack, and that's everything in it less for mine and Rusty's food, and it come to just under 15 kilograms, or about 32 pounds. So once I've got mine and his food in it for the night, it'll probably round it off to 15, maybe 15.5 kilograms, which is reasonable for a night in the woods. I mean, obviously if we were going out for a few nights with the amount of food I'll need to take for both of us, it would probably bump it up to the sort of 20k mark, but 15.5 kilograms for one night is a reasonable weight to be carrying. But yeah, I mean, all the kit that I laid out, everything that I've shown you, it pretty much, it more or less stays the same. I mean, the sleeping system may change depending on time of year, warm kit as well, how I cook my food and whatnot, depending on what food I'm going to take. I mean, if I'm just taking a steak, and like I'll take the grill, but if I want to make a stew, then I'll take a billy pot or whatnot. That rhymes, pot, whatnot. Tools as well, they'll sort of vary depending on what it is I'm planning on doing. I've got a lot of knives. I'm a bit of a knife fiend, to be honest. I like taking a different knife more or less each time I go camping, just to keep practicing with each style, because I've got a few flat grinds and Scandi grinds, different length blades, so with each knife, you know, you've got your own little intricacies with each one that you sort of need to learn to use it. But yeah. So anyway folks, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, I really appreciate you taking the time today to watch, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.